Rumi Spice presents the wild story of wild cumin. Buzkashi, Afghanistan's national sport.
When I was first stationed in Afghanistan in 2011, I was in the beautiful province of Badakhshan.
We're here in Badakhshan district of Badakhshan province.
Nestled among the Hindu Kush mountains, this remote and stunning province in northeastern Afghanistan was about to introduce me to an experience I'll never forget. Buzkashi. Now, for the uninitiated, Buzkashi is Afghanistan's national sport and an absolute passion to locals.
This is a wild, rough game of strength, strategy, and skill, where players attempt to drop a goat or calf carcass into a goal. When I learned that a soldier I was replacing was getting to play in a Buzkashi match, I was pretty jealous. I mean, after all, this was probably the first American since Rambo to participate in this sport. Though, to be fair, it was more of a symbolic gesture than any real display of prowess. Sat astride a tiny horse, he sort of wandered around the outskirts of the game, away from the real action. But we won't tell anybody that.
Helping to bring together young star players from rival towns in a thrilling, high-stakes tournament, it's really a breathtaking sight to behold, particularly against the backdrop of Badakhshan's rugged mountains and deep valleys.
The breathtaking province of Badakhshan. The people of Badakhshan are as remarkable as the scenery,
with a rich cultural heritage that shines through with their traditional music, dance, and cuisine.
They are warm, welcoming, and eager to share their stories and their favorite dishes.
The food is an explosion of both flavors and fresh ingredients, reflecting the region's unique history and geography.
Sniffing out the elusive Zita. So when I was first stationed in Afghanistan in 2011, I was talking to my Afghan partner about food and cooking traditions, comparing what our mothers and grandmothers prepared. I vividly recall discussing rice with my partner, who mentioned a mysterious and tantalizing spice called Zita.
He insisted that when this ingredient was present, he knew the rice would be something special.
So one day we're out walking the streets of Kabul and we passed a restaurant. And he said, "Hey Keith, can you smell that? That's what I'm talking about, Zita." So we walk in the restaurant and we look for the chef and we talk to him. My partner says, "Can you please show us the Zita so Keith, my partner, can see what we're talking about?"
The chef went to the back and brought out this bag of spices. I grabbed it and smelled it, and immediately,
"Oh, I know exactly what this is. This is comino. That's what we call cumin in Spanish. This is the exact same thing that my grandmother uses when she cooks. But this was a whole different comino than I had ever experienced. I was captivated. It's piney, woodsy flavors and intensely potent aroma, unlike anything I've ever experienced before. It was a revelation, and I knew I had stumbled upon something extraordinary."
You see, cumin is part of the fennel family, and in Afghanistan, there's a unique term that encompasses a wide variety of related spices. This single word refers to coriander, fennel, dill seed, and what we know as cumin.
The cumin that had me so enthralled that day was wild forage black cumin, the creme de la creme of its kind. The memory of that incredible cumin lingered in the back of my mind, long before I ever dreamt of starting a spice company. Starting Rumi Spice.
Now, fast forward to 2014. We start this business around saffron. Things are going really well with the saffron, and we felt the urge to expand and explore other spices. Naturally, the first thing that came to my mind was the unforgettable Wild Black Cumin. With its popularity in cuisines worldwide, it seemed like the perfect addition to our repertoire.
Our research led us to a startling discovery. The wild black cumin from Afghanistan was unparalleled. No other cumin sourced from anywhere else in the world belonged to the same plant species. We knew we had uncovered a culinary treasure, and it was our mission to share this extraordinary spice with food lovers everywhere. The search for the wild black cumin begins.
So in 2018, I went on a mission to Afghanistan to uncover the truth about this elusive cumin. It was like detective work. People gave us clues. We called our contact at the Afghan embassy in DC. He made phone calls, and then he'd call me back or text me and say,
"Talk to this guy," or say, "This guy will pick you up in the car tomorrow and take you to a farmer." It was a lot of trust, and it took some cojones. But this whole thing is built on trust at the end of the day. We rendezvoused with a cumin distributor in a market area near the old Kabul River. They call it the Old Market. It's a shady place. The atmosphere was charged with suspense. People bustled about the marketplace, some shifty-eyed. In the riverbed, there was a den where people were getting high on heroin. Not a great place. We were led to the depths of this warehouse, stacks of mysterious goods towering above us. Ascending the stairs of this nondescript mud building, we sat down in this dimly lit corner, ready to unravel the secrets of cumin. Our informant emerged, armed with knowledge and cumin samples. In hushed tones, he warned us of the dilution and contamination that occurs as cumin travels further from its source.
The wild search gets wilder.
Suddenly, our security team, a group of unarmed Afghans, alerted us that a meeting had attracted unwanted attention. We exited the building, and the air was thick with tension as the crowd outside began to close in. Their intentions unknown, but definitely not good. With no time to lose, we made our daring escape. Our driver executed a heart-stopping Dukes of Hazzard style spin, and we jumped into car just as the engine roared to life and sped off, leaving the bewildered crowd in our dust. Our hearts were pounding with the scent of cumin and dust lingering in the air. The stakes were high, the journey exhilarating, but the pursuit of the truth about the legendary cumin had only just begun. I went back to the US. We got our first shipment of cumin samples. I was so pumped, but thanks to a tip-off from my meeting in the old market, I knew we had to check the authenticity. We had all the samples genetically sequenced, and we could see that they were not 100% cumin. It was a mixture of several different species of plants. I knew we had to get as close to the source as possible to make sure that we had pure black cumin. I knew I had to go back to Badakhshan, where the wild black cumin grows.
Returning to Badakhshan.
2019, I went back to Afghanistan. I was on a mission.
Hey guys, this is Keith from Rumi Spice. For the past couple of days, I've been traveling to get out here to Badakhshan province. We're in the northeastern part of Afghanistan in the town called Faizabad. It takes about 3 days to get out here, but it's definitely worth the trip. We're out here in search of our next product line, Afghanistan Wild Cumin, which is grown in these mountains behind me right here. So today we're traveling up these mountains to meet with villagers and foragers who annually around this time of year forage this black cumin from the mountains of the Hindu Kush.
Finding the source.
The journey began in Faizabad, the city center, where my partner and I weaved our way through small shops, talking to shopkeepers, engaging in conversations about the origin of their wild black cumin.
We're at an Afghan spice shop. It's nearby here.
Slowly, we traced a path back to the villagers who harvested the spice from the rugged slopes of the Hindu Kush Mountains. With each conversation, with each encounter, we got closer and closer to our goal. Venturing deep into the mountains, we found ourselves among villagers gathering the precious cumin.
Walking to find cumin in these mountains back here.
The final twist.
Though we had found the source, our quest was far from over. We needed a wholesaler who could supply us with this aromatic treasure. Time was of the essence, and the stakes were higher than ever. With the help of an ally from the Afghan embassy in DC, we navigated a web of phone calls, texts, tracking down cumin distributors in Badakhshan. However, we had one final twist in store. The cumin distributors could not travel south through the province of Badakhshan because the Taliban had set up checkpoints there. It was too dangerous for them to travel, so we could not meet directly in Badakhshan. So, our intrepid wholesaler embarked on a 20-hour bus journey all the way around the province to meet us in Kabul. The atmosphere was electric as we exchanged handshakes and sealed the deal.
Rumi Spice Wild Black Cumin. We were able to purchase the cumin right after harvest, so it didn't get mixed with anything else. Now I can proudly say that Rumi's Wild Black Cumin is 100% pure wild black cumin foraged from the mountains of Badakhshan. It is unlike any cumin you can find anywhere on the market. We proudly employ Afghan women to forage for the elusive wild black cumin. These women, with their deep knowledge of the land and their skilled foraging techniques, play a crucial role in the gathering of this extraordinary spice. By providing them with employment opportunities, we not only contribute to their economic empowerment, but also help preserve traditional practices and empower them to become agents of change in their communities. It is through their dedication and expertise that we're able to bring the authentic and exceptional flavors of wild black cumin to the world. This is the only cumin I use, and I use cumin in just about every other dish that I make. Mexican rice, the way my abuela used to make it, but even better, is my favorite dish. Simple, straightforward, flavorful. So, there you have it, the wild story behind our wild black cumin.